Can you breathe, bro? Yeah? Shut the up. Hello, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk to you about what I called on a previous podcast, the hamburger rule. And what I mean by that is it's in the direction of being grateful. So I'm just going to spitball here with you. We're going to take a look at it, see what we see. I'm just going to share some thoughts, see what happens. Recently, some stuff happened, or has been happening in my life and the lives of the people that I care about, and also like other health-related stuff has also occurred, whatever, see? And every single time, one of the things that I notice, okay, no, I don't notice this every single time, but this happens where, like I called this thing originally the hamburger rule because, you see, and I can't, it's funny how vague it is, how quickly. I got sick, and all I wanted was a hamburger, and I couldn't eat one. I just wanted to, I wanted to do something, but I couldn't, right? And then I've got, some other stuff fairly recently, and, I don't want to eat. And then I think about, oh my God, it would be so nice to just have a pizza, or something happened where, I remember something happening where it's like, you take shit for granted. I'm kind of rambling here a little bit. You take shit for granted. You think, like for example, you don't think about it when you go into your car and you stick a key in there and turn the key, do you? With certain things, that actually becomes painful. You see, you get a paper cut on your hands, or you get hand, foot, and mouth disease or some shit like that, right? And then all of a sudden you have blisters all over your fingers. You go to turn the key, it actually hurts. You're like, what the fuck? Something, I start feeling like an old man. I want something I could just like do with my fingers. Can't do it without it being painful. It's like, damn, problem on the soles of the feet. You take walking for granted. You think you can just get up and go walk somewhere, right? But some people don't have that. Now, or you could lose it. You could lose it in an instant. The ability to walk. The ability to walk and it not hurt the bottoms of your feet. It's like when we don't think about this shit, do we? Like, I don't. Not until it becomes a problem do I start thinking about it. And so I was just wondering what the fuck's going on with that? And what I mean by that is there's something going on where it's like life becomes, there's a certain norm, and then everything's just fine. And only do we think about it when something breaks that norm. And then I remember, oh yeah, the one little virus could knock me out. I would not be feeling good, or shit, you could get a chronic illness. You see, there's a lot of health stuff going on, so it's like I'm relating to that with my mind, but it could be anything. You could have an accident, and then suddenly, if you start messing with your body, you can't control that. You lose a foot, bye-bye. And then you go, oh, you get a whole new appreciation for people that, say, don't have a foot. Or, oh, I didn't realize that hurt so bad. Like when you feel it, right? And then as I was, healing or whatever, getting over being sick, I was scrolling through YouTube and I saw this clip in Ford versus Ferrari where Ford comes in to talk to Shelby, and Shelby locks the dude in a room and then takes Ford for a drive, and Ford starts crying at the end of the ride because he was like, I didn't realize how strong this car was. And Shelby's like, yeah, kind of like we've been trying to tell you. But you see, the experience is way different than hearing about it. Or like somebody I know, she's got a kid, and the kid's having some challenges, and then the doctors come in, and she tries to tell the doctors, hey, this is a fucking problem. The doctors kind of brush it off, and then the doctors see it happen. They're like, oh, that's different. It's like, ugh. You see, what's the disconnect there? I guess that's the difference between concept and experience. One difference. Again, just spitballing here with you. And then I wonder about this thing where, how easy is it for me to forget That just the fact that I'm alive is good enough. Like, can you chew your food without pain? Because in my life, whatever that is, right? In my life, the thing that's so important, right? That we think is a thing somewhere that exists. What's the most important shit? It's like what you're going to get and where it's all going and da-da-da. And then you forget the miracle that you even have a body in the first place. Miracle, whatever. See? If you can do stuff relatively pain-free. So you don't think about it because you're not in pain. All right? And it's why, I don't know, it's like having blinders to the potential realities, I guess. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I just find it funny that time and time again, almost every time I get sick now, lately, and I've been sick a couple times, right? I think about, man, when I get better, I don't want to remember what this is like so I can just be happy with what I've got. Because, and this is the point of my video that I keep circling around a little bit. How many times you get back into your life and then you forget that you felt like shit. You forget that you couldn't swallow your food without pain. And then you just you get upset when your order gets fucked up at a restaurant. Or these little things piss you off when you would have given a fucking lot of money to have that thing, say 2 weeks ago, a week ago. Right? I really want that thing, but I can't have it. Maybe there's a relationship there. Maybe when you can't have something, it is more valuable. I mean, there's something like that. But how come we keep forgetting? Just to be grateful that we're alive, or to enjoy that we are breathing and that it's not a struggle, or because, some people live with chronic pain. I hear tell cancer can be like that. I don't know. Can you imagine? You wake up every day, it's pain. It's relatively sunny, but I'm hearing thunder. Anyway, you see? So it's what the fuck? That's kind of odd. I don't know. It strikes me as odd. How do we keep forgetting? Maybe it's just that we have a baseline that we operate at, and it's if this pain thing was painful for a while, and then after a couple of months that becomes normal, and then it just balances out. Okay, that's the norm. See, but so how come I turn into a little bitch 2 weeks after I get sick? Life starts to piss me off again. It's because I'm not trying to manage my current problems. Which makes me think about, again, I'm way not into hierarchies and shit like that, but there's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I can see why somebody would create a hierarchy like that, because there do seem to be certain hierarchies, or let me put it in a different way that's better suited for me in my videos. We can make up a hierarchy based on the distinctions we make. We can recognize patterns and then make a model about what we experience. Again, the model is never what we experience. It's just a way to relate to what we experience. It's like something we create about it, right? And so Maslow, he's got a hierarchy, and it's take a look. And this starts to bring me toward, bad-mouthing spirituality practices or religions or whatever, or certain stuff that I see gets in the way when people try to become conscious. You might have high, airy-fairy ideas about the way the world should be and how humanity should be, and then you are an ascendant being going to the fifth dimensional space or whatever, or you enter a state of mind, right? And your state changes and you're in bliss. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. Now, we cut your arm off, you're fucking bleeding. You gonna like that? I mean, thank God I've never been, say, shot or stabbed but I have taken some trauma to the body. Like I've broken my body up a few different ways. One shocking thing I did was, you ever stepped on a nail? When you feel that thing go into your foot, it sends a shock right through your body. I mean, or at least my body's like, fuck! Whatever I was thinking, if I was having a bad day, okay, my day just got worse. If I was, I don't know, I'm worried about, oh my God, I didn't get ketchup with my French fries and I step on a nail, fuck all that, right? The nail becomes a problem immediately. Why? Because your body is like, uh-oh. Or people have blah, blah, blah intellectual ideas about shit, and then you go do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, good. Talk all you want, and then get choked. Uh-oh. Everything you thought, you freak, whatever. You go to a different place real quick. Why? It's like the body's being threatened. Or, I'm healthy, but then I get surgery. That's traumatic to the body. Right when I got out of surgery, or right when I got out of anesthesia, right, I woke back up, I don't give a fuck about spiritual religion, blah, blah. I'm like, my world is fucked up. See? So my point with that is, again, like I said, just rambling here with you. It's like this, all these ideas, there's ideas about how things should be, and then just notice there's different levels, like I said, hierarchy. If you're a billionaire, but you can't breathe, the breathing takes the place over the $1 billion. Normally, in normal life, you walk around, $1 billion is like the thing, right? You're like, holy, if you're into money like that, it's like, holy shit, I really want that. But if you can't breathe, you don't give a fuck about money. You see, so like the what's important changes. Why does it change? See, and we can notice what's going on with that. And also probably we can notice how that's created. Like, I put money on, like, we can take a look. I bet comparison has something to do with it in terms of, like, say you're in a shitty situation, right? And if all you're doing is comparing your shitty situation to what you think it should be, like some better one, you'll suffer. Because this is shitty. Now, you could be experiencing a shitty situation, and then you go, well, I could not be breathing right now. You compare it to a shittier situation. Oh, this becomes better. You see how that works. And you can arbitrarily create stuff like that. You can make that up and make it powerful and make it real. See? So it's still just curious, again, just spitballing with you guys here about this, like taking stuff for granted. See, because I like full disclosure, like see my hands are all kind of fucky. I got what's called hand, foot, and mouth. And, somebody I know, her daughter got hand, foot, and mouth. And then I saw the daughter like walking around like, oh, what seems to be the problem, and she was upset, right? And then I got it, and I'm like, oh, fuck that. You ever been bitten by fire ants? Feels like you got fire ant bites all over your shit from a rash. What? Okay, and if you haven't been bit by fire ants, which is very possible if you're not like in Texas or the South or something, imagine you get a little cut in your hand. You ever like get a little cut in your hand and then you crinkle your finger and then like get some juice in there or something? There's like stingy pain. Take the stingy pain out of it, but kind of the fire burny pain that happens, and then put those cuts all over the place. It feels like that. It's like, God damn it, like itchy, burny feeling. See, I wouldn't wish that on somebody. I'm like, shit. See, but like, how do we, again, there's like the difference. I experience it now. It's like, oh, that's different. Fuck that. And then, it's what inspired the video, right? This shit I take for granted. Oh, can you open a soda can? Yeah, sure I can open a soda can. Yeah? Now get your hands like this and do it. Well, okay, they're better now, but open a soda can now. Ow. Turn a car key. Ow. open a door handle, twist the cap off of fucking a bottle. Ow! It all hurts. Right? What am I bitching about in my daily life? I can barely turn a car on. I've got a limp because like the soles of your feet get it too, right? I had to limp for the little fucking virus. And then in my daily life, I'm bitching about shit. But it can all go away so fast. And then I will put money that in a week, I will completely forget once I'm all healed. I'll forget about it. I'll go back to my asshole self this way. I'll complain about the stuff I complain about, and I'll have an unhappy life in that way, right? In this stupid way that we tend to do as humans, as far as we are fucking idiots when it comes to what we do emotional suffering-wise. It's just ridiculous. See, but then why am I going to forget? That's the sort of the theme here. What's the deal? Makes me think of Gary Vaynerchuk. It looks to me like Gary Vaynerchuk actually operates out of principles. He's a business guy, right? He does business stuff. He's like, you're running into a challenging conversation, bring gratefulness into it or whatever. He'll actively be grateful. Why? Because as far as I can tell, I suspect he understands the principle involved of being grateful. See? How to create it. So then you can then create it. So then what could I do, right? In the future, I'm bitching about something. Just remember, Brendan, you can actually turn a car on. You can eat food. You can breathe. Be grateful, which is like, I don't know, be grateful for what you have. I can breathe. Fine. Everything else is fine. You see how that changes the focus rather than my time and attention being taken up by like, oh, life didn't do this and they didn't do that and I don't like this and I don't like that. And Can you breathe, bro? Yeah? Shut the fuck up. See how it cuts the shit? But I bet money I won't do that. I'll forget. Anyway. What the fuck's up with that? That's so funny and so stupid. Anyway, just thought I'd share. So, in the spirit of Cheng Shin, of course, I don't give a fuck how you live your life, okay? You're going to choose. I hope that what you get out of this video is maybe a little insight about being grateful, a little bit about how comparison can create your experience of things, and how you can control how you relate to stuff, life or whatever, through using comparison. You can actually actively use it to create a different attitude, like being grateful for what you got rather than bitching about what you don't have. Compare where you're at to, even if it's really bad, right? So you get bad, well, it could be worse. You can actually make up a worser comparison, which could actually be true, because if you make it believable, you really get into it. And then your current situation is not as bad, right? So those are a few considerations, at least one tool you can use that you can play around with, and otherwise the invitation here would be to pay attention to your experience when you're experiencing things and notice stuff like I mentioned prior, you think life is fine, then you take stuff for granted. You could lose stuff in an instant. Just notice the next time you lose the capacity to do something at your norm, like say get sick and you have to lay in bed, that goes away. Notice also if you have fantastical spiritual ideas or ideals or just plain ideals about what's important and blah, 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 and then notice what happens when your body gets really affected. How much that stuff takes a back seat and your body takes priority, and how does that fit in with your spiritual beliefs? It really throws a lot of shit out of the way. Like when we do workshops, sometimes people will be talking in a certain way and I just want to smack them. because I know that what they're saying is very intellectual, and it's like, man, you smack them, boom, it gets non-intellectual really fucking fast, and it sort of puts that thing where it actually is, which is ethereal and worthless, really. It's non-existent. It's like a thought. But when the body's in trouble, that's way more important, and people forget that part. I think they get ungrounded because they forget that objects are fucking reign king in terms of like what you take most seriously. So there's that, and then the tool using comparison and stuff like that. So anyway, check this stuff out. Investigate, main thing, pay attention to your own experience and what happens when things happen, and then what are the consequences, and just watch what's going on here, because there's a lot to learn. It's available right in where your experience is right now. Okay, because that's how, say, Peter made lots of discoveries and breakthroughs. How? By paying attention to what's happening. That's it. Because it's here. It's not somewhere else. Anyway, so you got that? Thanks for watching. Take care. Good luck out there. Let me know what you find out. See ya.